Rod Serling was a visionary writer and television producer who left an indelible mark on American popular culture. Best known for creating and hosting the iconic television series The Twilight Zone, Serling used his platform to explore the depths of human nature and challenge social norms. However, behind his public success, Serling struggled with personal demons and ultimately died at the tragically young age of 50. Rodman Edward Serling was born on Christmas Day in 1924. He spent his childhood in the quiet university town of Binghamton, located in upstate New York. Serling's father was a secretary and an amateur inventor before his children were born. Later, he became a grocer and a butcher. Serling's mother was a homemaker. As a young boy, Serling developed a keen interest in performing. His father recognized his son's talent and built him a stage in the basement where he could practice acting. Serling's antics were not always well received by his teachers, and he developed a reputation for being a class clown in elementary school. Despite this, his 7th grade teacher encouraged him to participate in extracurricular activities at school. In 1943, shortly after graduating from Binghamton Central High School, Rod Serling joined the American military. He had a strong desire to fight against the Nazis, but ended up becoming a paratrooper in the Pacific Theater during World War II. After the war, Serling returned to civilian life and began selling radio scripts to programs in New York City. With the growing popularity of television, he shifted his focus to writing for that medium. Over 4 years of freelancing, Serling wrote 71 teleplays that were produced, but none of them matched the quality of his 72nd. On January 12, 1955, Patterns aired on Kraft Television Theater. The powerful drama depicted internecine warfare within the halls of a major corporation and earned Serling his big break. The teleplay also earned him the first of his 6 Emmy Awards. After the success of Patterns, Rod Serling became one of the most sought-after writers in the entertainment industry. His talent was highly regarded, and his scripts were described as brilliant. One of his most memorable works was the harrowing boxing drama Requiem for a Heavyweight, which became a live television classic. However, not all of his works were well received, and some were criticized for being too preachy or heavy-handed. Rod Serling was known for his social concerns, which were often reflected in his writing. However, this occasionally caused problems with advertisers and network censors who were wary of controversial topics. As a fierce defender of free expression, Serling did not take kindly to changes made to his work. In one instance, the word lucky was removed from one of his scripts at the behest of a tobacco company sponsor who did not want viewers to be reminded of Lucky Strike cigarettes. But this was nothing compared to what happened with Serling's drama, A Town Has Turned to Dust. The network, Columbia Broadcasting System, heavily edited the script, removing entire scenes and altering the dialogue. Serling was outraged by this infringement on his creative freedom and refused to allow the network to air the show. Serling was a progressive who spoke out on civil rights issues. One of his scripts was based on the real-life case of Emmett Till, a black teenager who was lynched in Mississippi for allegedly whistling at a white woman. However, the network was afraid that the show would outrage viewers in the South, so they made changes to the script. They changed the setting from present-day Mississippi to Mexico in the 1870s and toned down other racially charged story elements. Serling was not happy with the changes they made. He felt that they had butchered his script. He said, "They chopped it up like a room full of butchers at work on a steer." Rod Serling wanted to circumvent the network censors to create a show that could explore deep philosophical and political topics subtly. In 1959, he turned his attention away from live drama and envisioned a weekly half-hour fantasy anthology series that could achieve his vision. Serling proposed his idea to Columbia Broadcasting System, and they were intrigued by the prospect of having one of television's most reputable writers on board. Columbia Broadcasting System gave Serling full artistic control over the show, which he named The Twilight Zone and appointed himself as its executive producer. With this show, Serling found a way to explore social issues that were often avoided on television at the time. On October 2, 1959, The Twilight Zone premiered and garnered positive reviews. It was a literate and entertaining show that raised the quality of the science fiction fantasy genre. Serling's vision of the show involved using sci-fi elements to address contemporary social issues like racism, cultural conformity, and Cold War paranoia. To bring the stories to life, Serling cast a rotating group of seasoned character actors and emerging talents. Serling himself became part of the cast by serving as the on-camera host and narrator. He appeared in his trademark style, clad in a Kuppenheimer suit with a cupped cigarette and a gravelly monotone. His persona was both bizarre and captivating, like a celestial undertaker beamed into viewers' homes once a week for their enjoyment and enlightenment. As both the executive producer and host, Serling took on a lot of responsibilities for Twilight Zone, but he also wrote a significant number of episodes. Over 5 seasons, he wrote 92 of the show's 156 episodes, which included some of its most memorable stories. One such episode was Eye of the Beholder, which explored societal perceptions of beauty through the eyes of a disfigured young woman. However, the pressure of producing so many episodes within a limited time frame caused Serling to write some of them hastily, which resulted in a decline in quality. Some of the show's worst episodes, as well as its occasionally preachy and moralizing tone, were attributed to his rushed writing. In the wake of his success on The Twilight Zone, Serling earned both praise and criticism. Despite the occasional negative review, he became a recognizable figure with a distinctive voice on television. His contributions to the show earned him many accolades. But when the series ended in 1964, he returned to writing for dramatic teleplays. In 1968, Serling took on a new project, writing the screenplay for Planet of the Apes. Despite his verbose and occasionally melodramatic style, his writing added a unique touch of pomposity to Charlton Heston's performance in the finished film. As the 1970s began, Rod Serling returned to series television with a new show called Night Gallery. This show was similar in format to Twilight Zone, featuring a collection of horror and fantasy stories. Although Serling wrote some great episodes, he grew frustrated with the network's meddling. They wanted the show to be scarier and more like a typical crime drama. To make matters worse, the network even rejected some of Serling's scripts for not being frightening enough. Despite his frustration, Serling was contractually obligated to continue as the show's host. He went through the motions, but his heart wasn't in it. The show was ultimately canceled after 2 seasons, leaving Serling disappointed and humiliated. On June 28, 1975, Rod Serling passed away following complications from a heart bypass surgery. He had always been committed to maintaining the integrity of his work and promoting a higher standard of television entertainment. Goodbye and rest in peace, Rod Serling, and thank you for your contributions to the world of television and storytelling.